Yo, what's going on, everybody? It's your boy, B Dizzle. We up in here in the house now. We got chapter 1154. It's titled Can't Even, I Can't Even Die Now. So, we're gonna break it down. We're gonna start off with the cover story as we do. So, the cover page is Only Child Yamato's Golden Harvest Surrogate Pilgrimage. You're gonna hear me say that for the rest of your life. I'm just kidding. But this is volume 38, titled Go Pay Your Respects at the Grave of the Hero, born in the West Blue and raised in Ringo. So no correlation to the actual chapter, but very beautiful, very nice cover story. For me personally, I love snow. I'm a Florida boy, but I love snow. Never seen snow in my life. But it's really cool to see it in the anime. That's personally one of my favorite scenes was Wano in the snow, snowy Wano, with samurais and stuff like that. Cool edits I like that. So, anyways, we're gonna go to the short summary now. In the winter following Loki's birth, Ja Rule and Estrid died as Elbaf suffered under severe weather events and a famine, causing many conflicts to break out. However, Harald returned to the island and restored stability, as his diplomatic efforts resulted in many countries delivering aid to the giant kingdom. 7 years later, Harald spoke with Ja Rule about his difficulty dealing with the world government. Ja Rule told him about a shipwright group called Galila that was somehow captured long ago, suggesting the giants possess an ancient army. Now, 8 years following this, Elbaf was prosperous under Harald's diplomatic rule. Loki, still revering the old ways, regularly rampaged around the kingdom and bullied Hajrudin, though was ultimately doing this to try to fulfill a void of love that Astrid had not given him, and he even attempted to kill himself at points. One day, however, Loki encountered a band of pirates led by Rox the Exbeck, the father of Blackbeard. Rox was looking for Harald, who 8 years earlier had witnessed him murder a Marine admiral at the Levy Lay. So, a lot to break down, and we're gonna go in now into the long summary. Um, I feel like the Giants are a great team, great duo. I love how really Harald switched from rampaging and everything to this innermost person that's like, I really need to change, not only for myself but the nation, because I know where I go, the nation goes. I like how he did it for the betterment, but then you see, um, I think it's kind of like something to do with kings, royalty and with wives, babies. Now Loki and Hadrudin. Yeah, sure, similar like regular people have just wives and everything like that, but I just feel like just the fact that it's a king, he knows his status and everything like that. So, it does come into a royalty aspect. But all right, so I'm getting a little bit off the rails. Let's go into a long summary, and we'll kind of talk about what I'm talking about. We'll kind of get into what I'm talking about here with the royalty ties and everything like that. So during the year that Charlotte Linlin killed Ja Rule, Elbaf was plagued with recurring disasters that made it impossible to grow food or catch fish. Escher continued to claim that these disasters were a result of Loki's cursed existence and have continued because they did not eliminate him when she ordered it. But several giants were more inclined to believe it was all just a coincidence. The infant Loki tried to get close to his mother, but Estrid refused to see or acknowledge him, leaving the baby devastated. The recurring disasters led to giants attacking each other for survival, resulting in more deaths. And as the spirit of the people began to break, it became easier for them to believe Estrid's words about Loki's curse as their hearts began to weaken. This drove a giant to try and kill Hasrudin because he is Loki's older half brother, thinking doing so will save them and Ida as well for seducing Harald. Now, thankfully, Harald returned in time to save both of them. Harald informs his people that he heard about the disasters overseas, and he asks the countries that they're aligned with for help. And they responded with banding together to provide enough food for all of them. And in turn, Harald promises to provide aid when they need it as thanks. Shortly after Harald returned, Estrid finally passed from her illness, but she continued to deny her son to the very end. As such, the people believed Estrid died from Loki's curse, and by the time Harald could hold Loki himself, he had become forced to wear bandages over his eyes, the guards claiming he had a condition that affected his eyes. In addition, Loki did not smile in the presence of his father, as he had already given up on the idea of love. Just so hard right here. So, though Harald never seemed to know what Estrid did to him, Harald's diplomatic mission paid off and helped his country survive the long winter. It ultimately took up too much of his time, and Loki was forced to be raised by Estrid's brother, who hated him just as much as she did. And for Ida, she opened up a bar in the underworld, welcoming anyone to visit, hoping that it will aid Harold in his goals. It's a very entrepreneur move. I respect that. 7 years later, Harald spoke with Ja Rule in his home, where he told him he was at the Leveille thanks to someone sneaking him in disguised as a soldier. But the council refused to listen to him, and if it had not been the incident that resulted in a death, his cover would have been blown, and he would be in prison. Changing topics, Ja Rule asked Harold if he has ever heard of Galley Lock, a group of giant shipwrights. Harold says he has, though he thought they were just a myth. But Ja Rule confirms that yes, indeed, they existed. After sailing to distant shores, they sent back a letter saying they had been captured, which perplexed him as some of them were ancient giants. Harold asked Ja Rule if he thinks the world government was behind it, but Ja Rule is not sure. He knows their people had a great enemy in the past, but the history sank into the sea. The point that Ja Rule was trying to make with his story, though, was that he suspects Harold's inability to foster a good relation with the world government. It's not due to him, but because of some ancient history between the two, as their people are seen as a threat to the rest of the world. As time passed, Harald had 8 branches built on Elbaf to unify the country and promote trading, while people's dislike of Loki continued to increase as the lucky horse was found dead, and later his uncle, though, there were some who acknowledged him as the country's prince instead of Hasrudin. Harald, however, had become known as the best king their people ever had due to his dream of connecting Elbaf to the rest of the world and making it safe for their kind to live peacefully. Whenever Harald left on his trips, Loki would attack the villagers with an army of beasts from the underworld. Hasrudin tried standing up to him, saying he needs to respect their father's decision to work with humans. But Loki refuses to acknowledge them and strikes Hasrudin for talking back to him. This led to the future members of Hasrudin's crew running to his aid, which causes Loki to call Hasrudin and his friends losers for trying to look after each other. Nonetheless, despite all of them, all the harm, all the chaos he spread, nothing Loki did could fill a hole in his heart that his mother left with her cruel words. One day, Loki decided to kill himself by jumping from the sun world to the underworld, but his strong body protects him, leaving him despair that he cannot die. That same day would be the day Loki first met Rox, before he became captain of the Rox Pirates, as he had come to Elbaf to visit Harald. It turns out the two had met earlier at the Leveling, and the incident that took place there was Rox killing an admiral, which made him a wanted man. In a surprising twist, Rox is also stated to be the father of Blackbeard, as his face is finally shown, bearing resemblance to him. That is the end of the chapter. A lot, a lot, a lot. There are some notes to just say. During the War of Loki's birth, conflict ensued between villages in Elbaf, and natural disasters continued to plague the nation to the brink of a famine. The baby Loki returns from the underworld to see his mother Estrid, but is forced out of her room by the guards. When Harald returns, he announces to Elbaf that he negotiated with other nations to send aid to Elbaf to help them through their famine. After Estrid's death, Loki's eyes are kept behind bandages, and the guards claim to Harald that he has an eye condition. Estrid's older brother is appointed as Loki's steward, but eventually he mysteriously dies as well. Ida opens a bar in Elbaf's underworld. 56 years ago, Harald visits Jarl's house. Harald says he snuck into the recent Leveling thanks to a fellow king. There, he witnessed a murder that prevented him from getting caught. Jarl mentions the Galila, a group of giant warrior shipwrights that were captured, and rumors of an army of giants that had been frozen and hidden. Jarl suspects that Harald's ideals have not worked out due to Elbaf's action in the past. 48 years ago, the branch routes to Elbaf were created, helping unify the villages. Loki tries to commit suicide by falling down into the underworld, but after surviving, cries he cannot die. Rox the Exibet, along with Edward Newgate, Shiki, and Buckingham Stussy, encountered Loki. Rox asks Loki to confirm that they are at Elbaf, and if they could find Harald. Rox is revealed to have met Harald at the Leveling 8 years before and was behind the murder incident in which he killed a Marine admiral and was subsequently issued a massive bounty by the world government. Rox is revealed to be the father of Marshall D. Teach. End of chapter. Insane chapter, guys. It's an insane chapter. I mean, what can you say? It's hype, man. It's hype, and thank you, Oda. Thank you, Oda, for always being so awesome, man. Great experience for us. You gave us a sense of life. You gave us a sense of excitement again, a sense of mystery, and And you also made us feel a little dumb. Like, man, we should have predicted that was gonna happen, you know. But thank you, thank you. Hope you guys have a great day.